Hey everybody, so here we are at the brand new SJN, stands for St. James Nesconset Sports Complex here in Nesconset, New York, Long Island. About a year old, this facility. They did such a fantastic job. It's a multi-million-dollar complex that is specifically just for their youth football and lacrosse program here in Smithtown, serving both Nesconset, Smithtown, St. James. It's just a beautiful complex. They have lights coming in within the next year. Future development is going to be the media center on top of the concession stand here. And then behind there, there's football fields, more football fields for practice and lacrosse as well. We've been fortunate enough to be doing their youth photos for football, lacrosse, and cheer actually for the last 10 years or so. And it's also where I've been teaching for the last 30 years before retiring in 2024. So we thank SJN for allowing us to use the complex to capture our full-length composite. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is where we would want to pose our athlete had we been doing this, or if we were to do this in an actual live shoot. Where we put our athlete and where we put our camera is very, very specific, because everything that we would do in this live natural environment setting, we have to mimic that when we create our composite. So first thing you'll notice is I have a stand serving as our athlete. If you don't have a 12-year-old at home that's willing to come out and do these shots for you, a stand will work very, very well. And the stand is actually set to about what a 12-year-old would be, a little bit, maybe my height, maybe a little bit taller. There's a reason why I set it up for a 12-year-old when I make my composite set. I'll explain that, but you'll also notice that I'm also offset to the side. This is just personal, but I don't like to shoot the goal head on. I like for it to be offset so that goal is at an angle and not monopolizing the frame. You'll see it actually makes for a better crop anyway. So we're off to the side. The stand itself right now is at the 45-yard line on the defensive side. Why so far back? Well, it allows us to use that goal to accent our subject but not monopolize it. And you'll see it will give you more range to crop tight, and you won't need to crop away part of that field goal in making that tight crop, even for your smallest kids. So again, we're just using that goalpost to accent our athlete. We don't want it to be lost in the crop. And so I have found in years past, the best spot to do it is around midfield, give or take, depending on what your field dimensions are. Sometimes that field goal is, it could be a little bit off, but right now I'm at the 45-yard line for my subject. And in front of me, you'll see the camera at ground level. The distance between the camera and the light stand is about 15 feet, maybe 20 feet. There's a little bit of breathing room there. And I will go over camera settings exactly before I go into the details of what we're going to do here. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the height of this stand. My tallest 12-year-old is about this height, and there's a reason why I want to set this up for a 12-year-old. And I'm going to suggest to you, if you're going to build a template series, when we do this and when I show you in our Photoshop session, I'm building for youth leagues 12 and younger. So I'm going to start at my 12 all the way down to my 5 and 6-year-olds. I would suggest to you, if you want this for high school, or if you want to be able to have the range from little tiny kids, 5 and 6-year-olds, all the way to age 18, then I would suggest that you do 2 master frames, one for your 12-year-old height, and then you could do another one for your 18-year-old or your varsity player. But for the purposes of our workshop, I'm going to be creating our full-length composites for 12 and under, starting with my tallest kid. And you'll see from this master frame, we can scale this down without having to keep reshooting this for smaller kids. I'm going to show you how to do that. But start with your tallest kid, and this is about where my 12-year-old would be. When I measure this out and I get down to my camera level, I want this for my 12-year-old, okay, to be higher than the top of the goalpost. And then what I might also do is I'll actually focus in and look in on this knob and see, all right, where does this knob fit in the frame as well? Because this is about my littlest kid. And is that still at least even with the top of the goal? What I don't want is I don't want the goal to be higher than my player, at least not by a large margin. If it extends a little bit higher than my player, I could still get that crop in. and not crop away the goal, but you don't want your goal to be tremendously higher than your player because you're going to lose that in the crop. And that's why 45-yard line seems to be the sweet spot. 45, 50 midfield, give or take, offset to the side. All right, so I'm sitting at ground level right now, and just for the purposes of settings right now, I have my camera set to f4. Focal length is between 100 and 135. Don't know if you could see that or not. And my stand, which is serving as my subject, is about 16 to 20 feet away. So there's a little bit of breathing room as far as how far your subject has to be from the camera when you actually shoot this master frame outside. When we do our indoors, we like 16 feet. You have some breathing room here with both f-stop and distance to subject, but I would recommend staying really, really close to these settings of f4. You can go to f5, 6 if you want a little bit more of that background in. And a little tough to see on the camera right now, but I will add it in post exactly what look that gives me from this angle. But you'll see that plenty of room. You'll see that the subject itself will extend way past the top of the goal, and even my smallest kid is still going to clear that goal and make for a nice crop. So once again, f4 to f5, 6, and our focal length is around 100 to 135, give or take. Oh, one thing I also do want to mention, the most important thing is you want to set your shutter speed for a nice blue sky exposure. Last thing before I actually take this to the next segment, I'm going to use my autofocus to focus in on that stand. You don't want to focus in on the background. You got to find the stand itself somewhere around the base and make sure that your camera focuses in on that, and then you are going to actually shoot a frame of that, and then I'll tell you what to do next. So once again, f4 to f5, 6. We are at, maybe 120 on the camera. Again, you have breathing room for that. My shutter speed to get proper exposure, let me just tell you what that is, because that's going to vary depending on your atmosphere and what's going on. But right now I am at f4, 1/1000th of a second, ISO 100. All right, so once my camera is locked on my stand serving as my 12-year-old athlete, I am going to shoot one of the frames to serve as on my master. And it's really tough to see the screen here, so I'll probably add this in post. But I'll just kind of show you what it looks like. Actually, if I could crank up the exposure compensation, you can at least get an idea of how that's fitting in the frame. But again, I'll just add it in post so you could see how much taller that stand really is. With that goalpost. But again, you want that because you don't want to lose any part of that goal when you initially finalize your crop. So I'm going to shoot one frame of this, maybe a couple of frames, and that is going to take me to the next step of what I need to do to finish it up. But let me get back to normal exposure. I'm going to go to my camera. Again, I'm locked in. I'm going to shoot my frame. Couple frames, and then I'm going to tell you what to do next. All right, so the last piece of the puzzle is I'm going to remove the stand from the scene altogether, put it off to the side so it's not going to be in frame. And then most important is I'm going to go back down to the camera level. Let me back up. And here's the most important part. You do not want to refocus. You're just going to basically go back to where all of your exposure has already been set and shoot that same exact frame without the stand. Okay, so the very last thing I want to show you is, and this is completely optional, but you'll notice I'm going to also do a horizontal frame as well. It's going to give me a little bit more flexibility if I want to do siblings. I can also use AI to kind of build it up and make the master frame more higher resolution. Again, completely optional. When you do this though, keep in mind, in order to get the horizontal, I may have to move back a little bit more or zoom out. So here's where maybe F4 is a little bit more crucial, just so you can blur out that background. But then everything else is essentially the same. I'm gonna focus in on my stand as my subject. F4 is my settings for this. I'm still at 1/1000th for the perfect sky exposure. And you're gonna see it just gives me a little bit more width to the frame, a little bit more flexibility. I'll now kind of show you how we can use that in our post-processing for the Photoshop. So I just want to talk about this stand serving in as our athlete and why I have it set to the height that I do. Once again, this is about where even my tallest 12-year-old would be. I mean, some 12-year-olds are going to be a little bit shorter, obviously, but this is about where a 12-year-old would be. And the reason why I'm not shooting a frame for a 12-year-old and then doing another one for where a 10-year-old would be, and then having to do another one where 8, 9 would be, all the way down to your 5, 6 flag group. You could do that. You could do that, but keep in mind, what would you do if you had that age group and you were shooting it on field? You'd either have to zoom in to get a tighter crop, right, or tighter composition, or you'd have to move your lens closer, right? So this is all going to kind of make sense in day 2 when we do the Photoshop, but our brain perceives size based on the ratio of the subject to the background. And we can cheat all of that in Photoshop using our tallest player. I'm going to show you how to do that in day 2. So if all you got was this frame right here with your, that's a little too tall, but if this is all you got for your 12-year-old, I'm going to show you how you can use that frame, that master frame, to build a template for your 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 5, 6, and so forth. Only reason I would say anything higher than age 12, you might want to get a second frame for your varsity player, wherever that might be, around 6 feet. Just makes it a little bit less guesswork, I would say. But for the purposes of our workshop, since we're working with youth age 12 and under, 12 is the way to go. And I'm going to show you how we can build different age group templates just from this 12-year-old stand-in. So to wrap up everything that we did here today, I just want to emphasize some of the key points that we talked about. Everything that you do here as far as settings have to be pretty much in line with what Shane showed you in day 1 with his settings. You don't want to shoot your PNGs or your images for extraction at f5.6 and then be out here at f14, f22. Everything has got to be really, really close, if not dead on, to what you would do on the inside when you shoot your actual PNGs. So when we expose out here, keep in mind, I don't need my lights. I don't even really need an ND filter, which is what I would probably use on a day like today. Or I would have to shoot high-speed sync to get that look. Because it's all about exposing for the background, right? You want your subject, your athlete, to be perfectly exposed using your lights, and you want your camera to expose for the background. So, and I kind of say that in some of the other presentations that I've done, your camera exposes for your background, your lights expose your subject. You want to get a nice mix between the two. So, for my settings, I want to be around f4, f5, 6. There is some breathing room there, but you definitely don't want to be out here at f22. Okay? I'm about 16 feet to 20 feet away from my subject. Within that range is fine. Whatever shutter speed gets the proper sky exposure is what you want to be dialed in at. So for today, I was at like 1,000th of a second, maybe 1250, around that range. Okay? If your sky is a little hot or it's a little under, you're still okay, but you definitely don't want to blow it out. Last thing I want to mention, which is kind of important, is when you shoot your master frame, they always tell you sun is an enemy. It's not an enemy, it's your best friend when you shoot this blank frame. You actually want shadows, the colors just pop more. Overcast days, everything is flat. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't look, it's not going to get you that look that you want to get. So look for your sunny days. We picked a great day today. There's some nice cloud cover in the background. It looks fantastic. Temperature's great, of course, but look for sunny days with a nice cloud cover when you want to capture this frame, whether it's football or baseball or soccer. And it doesn't matter the sport, it's all the same principles. Find your goal, find what it is in your background that you want to accentuate, shoot for that, figure out where your athlete's going to be, center them on that goal, whether it's a lacrosse goal or a soccer goal or a baseball scoreboard. You want to line up, whether you have a real subject or you have a stand, you want to line that person up, line that stand up to where you want it to be, focus in on that, expose for the sky, right? Take your blank frame, pull your stand out, don't change your settings, and then do the same thing without the stand there or without your subject there. Once again, you'll see how that plays into day 2 in the Photoshop, but you're gonna need one of each. You're gonna need one with the stand, at least one with the stand, and one without. Shooting horizontally, completely optional. I'll show you what you can do with that. It gives you some more flexibility as to what you can do when you build your master frame. Completely optional, but definitely stay ground level. Ground level is the key. All right, ground level is absolutely essential. If you are even up a couple of feet, you're going to see when we use that grass brush in Photoshop, it becomes very difficult to make that look real. So stay ground level no matter what. Okay, the rest will all kind of make sense when we talk about the Photoshop in day 2. So while I was on my way out thinking that we were done here, I noticed on the other side of this concession stand here was another beautiful field, but on grass. And I figured I'll just stick around. I'll show you what the frames look like in grass. Same thing, beautiful background. The grass, the greens itself look fantastic. The field goals are in great shape. Beautiful sky. So I said, I'll just show it to you on grass. It's essentially the same thing. Only thing is you'll notice with grass, because of a grass field, the cleats are going to sink lower in the ground. So it's because it's softer. So you have to build a different composite for it altogether. And you'll see when you paint your grass brush in, it's going to cover more of the cleat. But it does tend to be more forgiving than turf. With turf, you just have to be really, really specific when you use your grass brush and make sure that there's nothing leaking through, as I'll show you with Photoshop. In grass, you can get away with a little bit more, and it's really an outdoor natural look, which looks great. So I did a couple of frames at f4, f5, 6, and I will show that to you as well.